JD Note fouls out early, but the Arkansas just straight grit one out in overtime to beat the Texas A&M Aggies 76-73. This is Arkansas basketball recap. I'm Daniel Price. That's Jacob Price. Man, that was pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I mean, what
was
what,
it?
It was sweet, dude. It was sweet because Note fouled out and they found a way to do it.
I did think when it went to overtime that it was over. I was like, there's no way they win this game. And honestly, I still don't know how they won that game because
Jalen Williams is how they won that game.
Well, and they had to have some good fortune too. And not to say they didn't deserve to win it, but like they tried to lose a little bit there. And that, like, I felt like Devo, the reason Buzz Williams was so mad there at the end was I did feel like Devo walked on that.
If he wasn't fouled, he did. Yeah, it's either a foul or a walk. I mean, it's like what
because he took two big steps and then did like a little hop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then I mean, but that was neither. Some they missed some calls, but then you should be up by 7 if you make your free throws, and instead you're up by 4, and then of course they hit a 3, and now it's a 1-point game where it would be a 4-point game. You know what I mean? It's like you got to make those free throws.
Dude, I think that Arkansas, that's not one where I think you escaped with one. I think that because Note fouled out, because we missed some free throws that we don't typically miss. I think we shot free throws well all game, but we missed some really unfortunate ones, and they shot 95% from the free throw line, 19 of 20. I mean, and so I'm like, look, yeah, if you're A&M, I think it's the opposite. A&M had their chances to win that game and didn't.
Yeah, that's true. They definitely, if I would be bummed if I was a fan of A&M, because you have a good chance to sweep, and we definitely gave them every opportunity that they needed.
Not because Arkansas played bad, because they did not play bad. Arkansas did not play bad in this game. They played hard. Their defense looked great. They came out great. They played very well the whole game defensively. Note didn't have a great night. I mean, he didn't shoot the ball well. I mean, he hit some big threes early on, but they did a pretty good job of trying to lock him up. And we still found a way to win, mostly on the defensive end. And that was encouraging. I mean, even guys that had rough night. I mean, Chris Likes, I thought, played like trash the little bit that he was in there. By the way, Note, I know it's hard. I do. I know it's hard when you want to play aggressive defense. My guy, you can't get that second foul with 7 minutes to go in the first half, because this has happened a couple of times now, and it's so dangerous for us when you have to try to maintain for 7 minutes before you go into halftime to get you back on the floor, guy. I mean, I just don't do that. So that was a bummer that happened again, and Likes was awful in that stretch. But to his credit, he came back in and he was still, my guy, you got to give the ball up sooner. I know you're fast and that's what you want to use it for, but you're like too fast sometimes and like it's out of control. But then he finds Jalen Williams for like an incredible drive and dish to Jalen Williams. Devo.
Are you talking about when he got the dunk at the end, or near the end?
Yeah.
And he was that was one of those plays where he was literally less than a quarter of like hundredths of a second from getting that ball stolen.
Yeah.
That guy was creeping on the backside and he did not see him, and he was about to take that ball from him right as he flipped it.
Yeah.
Dude, that game stressed me out, dude. I was stressed out that game.
Yeah, that play was great. I mean, Jalen Williams hitting like a 17-foot, got a fully elevate jump shot with no time on the shot. I mean, what
with a bad wheel?
Yeah, what a stud, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if you're an Arkansas fan and Jalen Williams isn't your favorite basketball player in this team, like I don't even know if we could hang out. Because I'd be like, I don't know what team you're watching. Like, he's your favorite player in this team, or else you don't know basketball.
So yeah, I mean, we're all over the place because that game was stressful and
We'll just
it
go ahead.
just
We'll just go ahead
just
and
ended.
we'll just go ahead and agree right now. Jalen Williams, third game in a row, player of the game. It's not close.
Mhm. So overall of that game, I felt like, I mean, they started amazing. They started exactly the way you wanted them to. They
Mm.
had all the stuff we were talking about. They had the defense. The ball was in flow. It was snapping. They were moving. I was like, holy cow, this is a new team. This is amazing. This is at least, this is how this,
Devo's throwing no look alley oops to Tony to put down with his left hand.
well, that was later. But yeah, I mean, I like, this is the way I experienced the game. Was amazing first 10 minutes. Then he took Note out, I guess, for a little bit there and put lights in. That's when they went from, I think we were up by 11 and they brought it within 4. And then he had to put Note back in. And then it was kind of give or take 5, 6 points. But once I'm not saying he shouldn't have taken him out, but
It's hard. It's hard for a dude to play the whole game.
it is. But I almost would rather, like, they did this a little bit sometimes, but like have him go stand in the corner and take a possession off, like on offense, and let, like, run the post through Williams or something, and let him just sit in the corner and rest and put his hands on his knees. Because when they took him out, and then A&M made a little comeback, kind of got their feet underneath them, and then
Which, by the way, a team is bound to do if they're A&M's a good team. They're second place in the SEC. Obviously, you don't expect them to never go on a mini run. I mean, you're expecting it's going to happen at some point.
No, but I want it to happen after we've already got our 20-point lead, because
Yeah.
we were on our way to like a 20-point lead. I'm not saying we were, but I'm saying that's the way we were playing. And then we kind of not that we took our foot off the gas, but they got their footing and we never got that mojo back the same. The rest of the game was
dogfight, man.
Dogfight. And you can see it in the shooting, dude. I'm telling you, it's not that a lot of people think it's the other way around. It's not that shooting means you're playing well, or that's like happens. You're playing well when you're shooting well. No, when you're playing well, you shoot well. It's the other way around. When the ball's moving and you're doing all the right things and your spirit is not conflicted. I mean, when Amude and those guys, I mean, even Wade were catching the ball, it was just like, this is in rhythm and it's going down. When it turned back into the other thing that happens, which is they were watching Note too much. They weren't passing. And it's weird because in the beginning of the game, they were not just watching Note dribble. He was giving the ball up and it was popping around and Williams was touching it and they were kicking it to the corner and then working it back around. I don't understand how that stops. You know what I mean? I mean, I do understand it, but I'm saying,
well, part of it was taking Note coming out of the game. It was part of it.
But then when he came back in, they couldn't find that again. And I want to blame this partially on coaching, because I was surprised he didn't call a time. I mean, it was nice to have all our timeouts the whole game, but like Muss does not call timeouts. But I feel like there was this one stretch where it was like a 2 or 3 point game, and like 5 possessions in a row, Note came down and literally just dribbled around, like slowly wasting the clock down to below 10 seconds, and then dribbled in and threw something up. And it was like, now Note is great. And if those go down, I mean, it's great. But like, it just seemed like we were out of sorts. The rebounders weren't in the right place. And it happened for a big stretch. And it was like, I feel like why, and the announcer did say this, and I actually was very much agreed to them. I'm like, you're obviously, your offense is clunky right now. It's ground to a halt. Everyone's standing around. No one's doing anything. Why isn't Williams touching the ball? Why are they not going inside out?
Well, the thing that's weird about Williams not touching the ball, it's different. Okay, so it's not because. Well, first let me say this: I am here for Williams being a more offensive player and intentionally being a bigger part of the offense, because somebody's got to. And I like the idea that it's him. And you can see them do that early. This is a couple games in a row they've done that. They're trying that. You could tell that he's been told, like, you got to score the ball a little bit. You got to look to get. You can't just whip it around or whatever. Like you got to go to try to get some. And I'm all about that. So I think he's done a good job. I want to see him either hit another 3 tonight. He's looking to, and even turn the ball over a couple of times early doing that, but I still like it. I still like him being someone who's a threat to score because I think it's better for his passing, right? And
Mhm.
so I like all that. The other reason that like when the offense is cited that you got to get Williams the ball is because he can do something with it offensively. He also is the best passer on the team.
Well, that's all I'm looking for. I wasn't even saying he needs to score. We need to line up a play for him to be offensively aggressive. But when Note's just standing, dribbling slowly back and forth for the third possession, and then he, like I said, he's obviously having an off shooting night on as far as inside the 3-point line. His shots weren't really dropping. He didn't have that
Yeah.
floater. He didn't have his leaner, and I mean, his layup was still pretty good. I mean, he had some sick drives where he was able to turn the corner, but I just don't understand why when it's that clunky on the offense, why not get Williams touching the ball? He always gets the movement happening better, and he's as likely as anybody to, I mean, in my opinion, it's worth a shot, like setting him up at the high post, letting him have the ball, seeing if he can draw another guy. I mean, have Tony cutting, have a mood ache. It's like, it just felt like I wasn't sure why there wasn't more of an effort to try to get the weight off of that offense when it was clearly
Yeah.
bogged down. Generally, you'll see a coach like get frustrated and go, "What are we doing out there? Is this the plan?" But and the same thing, I actually thought Must should have called a timeout after they made that three. When they made that three to tie it up, and Note's not on the floor. If Note had been on the floor, it'd been different. But there's like, what was 9 seconds left, and you have a chance to win the game now. I mean, it's tied. It's a bummer. You just gave up a 6-point lead in less than a minute, which I mean is annoying. But you still have 9 seconds. They can't foul you because you're in the bonus. It's actually a very advantageous position to be in. We can go down and win the game, and just let Amude like drive the ball up the floor. It didn't make, I don't, and then sure enough, we threw the ball out of bounds. It's like, why wouldn't you call a timeout and set up a set play to, I mean, I know I'm being hard on Musselman, but I'm just saying, like, I thought that I was like screaming at the TV, like, you don't have Note on the floor, and this team is like one of their main problems is being able to drive the ball at all and not turn it over. And you're gonna, with 9 seconds, not try to call some kind of a play so that they know what to do. And
Yeah,
I don't expect.
I think the thought process there is that if you call timeout, you give Buzz Williams a chance to set up a defense, you give him time to coach his guys up, and if you're throwing the ball in, you're hoping for like a miscommunication, you're hoping for a scrambly kind of thing. That's a, you see, maybe you get it, maybe you don't kind of thing. Where and Muss is the guy that is never going to call that timeout. He's going to try to race down the floor and find and just and hope that the defense is frantic enough that somebody's a little bit out of position and you get an advantage. I think that's that's just the way he's built. I don't know that it's the right thing to do, but it's the thing that he's always going to do because that's how he
I feel like
rolls.
that would make sense if you have a certain personnel, but when you have Amude, Tony, Williams, and no Note, and apparently Chris Likes, who must have a broken thumb or something like that because he can't hold on to the ball to save his life. It's like, you got to understand, like, in the moment, it's like,
I think Likes just gets going faster than he can take the ball with him sometimes, man. Like sometimes you're like, dude, you got to take the ball with you when you're going that fast.
yeah, but dude, this is what's weird is like, that's not that's not, and then that may be what's maybe that may be reality, but that's not what I thought was reality. Because I don't know if you remember, we actually in one of the first games we're talking about, man, Likes is kind of selfish. He doesn't pass the ball very well, but at least it's nice to know, we said this, that if the team is pressing at the end of a game, you got a guy that nobody can take the ball from. We said that because that whole one game, they were pressing the whole last like couple of minutes to try to get the ball, and he just wouldn't pass it. And remember, the announcer was going like, kept saying, "Hey, there's other teammates on the floor," or something like that, was criticizing him, like, and he was dribbling through the whole other team, but they never took the ball from him, and they kept fouling him, and he went to the line and made like 15 free throws and won the game. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's selfish, but like that's nice to know you have that.
Yeah.
Tonight, he couldn't hold on to the ball at all. Like
No.
it just was squirting out everywhere. It was
He was just
crazy.
having one. I mean, and it might just be one of those nights I've had. I mean, I'm not, just, some world beating ball handler, but I've had those nights where I'm like, I can't hang on to the ball at all tonight. Like I can't. I better not dribble at all because apparently I forgot how tonight, so I can't do that. Maybe just one of those things. I did think like it's this is the how Note is. Note didn't play great. He led the team in scoring with 17 points. How? I don't know how. I don't even remember. I don't remember him getting 17 points. He did. And you're like, did he make a bunch of free throws? No, just three. Just three free throws. Like that's just wild. And he still, had, still had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. That's just he's a weirdo.
Still good
like
number. Yeah. And I actually didn't think
he didn't play. He didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't play bad.
No, and because I did think that he was helping, break down the defense.
Oh, I still want him on the. He
that,
still has to be on the floor because it doesn't. Even if he does not shooting well at all, it doesn't work without him.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and watch it. I'm not sure, but the first 10 minutes of the game, if I had to guess, I'd say that's when he got 3 of those 4 assists because he was definitely breaking down the defense a little bit. He was relaxed, he was fluid, and he was, that's when he made all his shots too, and he was passing the ball well. And it definitely, I don't know if Buzz Williams figured something out. I'd have to go back and watch it, see what they were doing. Were they shading his left hand or something like that? Because he seemed like he had way harder time penetrating and getting any kind of a good look in the second half for sure.
Yeah, and part of it, part of it's just like Texas A&M is a good team. That's an NCAA tournament team. That's a good basketball team that we just had to beat in overtime.
And they did play scrappy defense, dude. I mean, like that first half, even when we were up, like there was a ton of blocks and steals and potential, like in both directions.
Was a lot of blocks. There's a lot of blocks that game. By the way, too, give me this game from Tony and Amude every night too. Amude had 15.
And Wade.
Yeah. Oh, I love Wade on the floor. I mean, he had 8 points tonight, but in his stat line is not that impressive. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block, 8 points. But I'm telling you, he does more than that. Like there's so many balls that he's like tipping up. He's he's doing all the right things on defense, the switching. Give me Wade on the floor. I'm great with it. Give me this game from Tony, dude. If I can get 15 points from Tony, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, that's great. Amude played great. Amude had 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. I mean, dude, that's great. Jalen Williams' stat line is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
It's absurd. It's 14 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 steals, 3 blocks. That's nuts. And he was stealing the ball like crazy. Every time someone tried to go down the lane, he's just like, let me just take that from you. He just like a guy would drive in there and all of a sudden Jalen Williams has the ball. He just like reached in and took it from him.
Yeah. And a lot of times it was when they were coming back and stuff. It was such a relief because it was like some of the times it was when they were about, they brought it all the way back. It was a 1-point game. It was like, okay, here they got a chance to take the lead. And then he'd get a steal or something.
And he's also doing all the things that you can't mark down the stat sheet, which is like Jalen Williams on the floor, Jalen Williams tipping the ball out of there, all of that stuff. I mean, like that dude's on the floor way more than most big men are on the floor, we're diving on the floor, right? I mean, it's that dude's hustle is out of control. Yeah, I think he just cramped up. I don't think for a second there I got worried, but I think he pulled a freaking calf muscle or something. But I think he just cramped up. I will say this. Hey, give me that 4-game winning streak. I'm here for it. It's what we said. Musselman is better at the end than he is at the beginning. He always is. It takes a little time to figure it out. He has figured his roster out because he ain't playing a bunch of dudes anymore. He's got the thing shortened up. And I do like what he's doing. He's decided that he's gonna D the heck out of teams, which I'm here for that. And he's gonna let Note run the point guard spot, and that seems settled. And they look a lot better, because I'll tell you this: 3 weeks ago, they don't win that game.
Yeah. No, dude, I mean, and I thought it was huge that they I mean, I didn't want to put too much emphasis on it, but I was feeling like this especially when Note went out and then that guy hit that three, I thought, and to tie the game. And I realized this is almost certainly going to overtime with no Note. And as bad as we've been playing without him, I was like, this is like a season defining potential loss to be up by 10, a majority of the game, and then to be up by 6 with 54 seconds left or whatever it was. I mean, my wife looked up and was like, oh, well, it's pretty hard to come back from that. I was like, you don't say that. And sure enough, and she looked up, she goes, wait, what's going on? I'm like, it's in overtime. But I thought if we lost, like, I mean, because we were talking about this the other day. I mean, there's just not a lot of wiggle room at this point. We've lost enough games.
The schedule is backloaded. The schedule's is tough and going to keep getting tougher. And the home games, even against the good teams, are the ones you got to get them.
Well, like I said, and A&M is a good team, but you don't want to be swept by them. Nope. It just doesn't look good. To split with them home and road is, there's no shame in that. But to get swept by them, to lose another conference game at home, like that's the kind of game that makes and breaks seasons right there. Because like I said, we may only be able to lose another 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think
and still expect to make the tournament, I mean, of course.
Yeah, I think we can. I think you want to go in with no more than 10 losses total. And so we're sitting at 16-5. So but I mean, we only have, but you have to understand that means that you have to win 8. And you've got to play Tennessee twice, you got to play Auburn, you got to play Kentucky. Texas A&M is the best team we played so far. Maybe, I guess technically you could say LSU is the best win we have so far, but technically Texas A&M is higher in the SEC rankings.
And it looks worse all the time because LSU, although caveat that they don't have their point guard, but still I think this is how it's gonna go in the SEC too. Like, I mean, ain't nobody coming out of this thing unscathed. I mean, Auburn looks like a complete juggernaut, but they're going to lose too. Everyone's going to lose. And what you have to do when you have that much parity in the league is you have to hold serve at home. That's why early, like the Vanderbilt loss at home was so bad, and you knew that you were going to have to go get that win at LSU to sort of cover that up, right? Man, we're going to have to go get a big one on the road to make up for that, because you can't lose to Vanderbilt at home. That's a bad one. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, I mean, it really is. Auburn's, they're going to make the tournament, and Kentucky's going to make the tournament. And then there's probably 3 to 4 other SEC teams.
But everything I see, Joe Lunardi and all the bracketology guys, they all say 6, possibly 7 from the SEC, but 6 is a given, I think, from the SEC is what they're thinking. So that's one thing that Auburn, Kentucky, and 4 more for sure. Maybe if you're lucky, someone goes on a run through the tournament, the conference tournament or something, like, okay, we'll give you a 7th. But and that's gonna be tough, man. That's gonna be tough, and not just for anybody. It's hard because this league is not what this league used to be. It's great that Arkansas is back and nationally relevant, and that's fun. The whole conference is this is what makes Arkansas basketball fun right now, is that Arkansas is better than it's been in a very long time, for consistent years. The league is better, so like there's all these games that have all this pattern, and it sort of brings perspective on sort of how bad Arkansas's drought was when they weren't able to win a bunch of games when the league was way worse than it was. I mean, this team would be running through the SEC 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not the same league. The league is very different now, and there's a lot of teams that want to beat you. I think the coaching in the SEC is insane. Like the every team's got some dude sitting on the sideline. You're like, oh my gosh, got to face this guy.
Yeah, like potential Hall of Fame type, college coach.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I said, the good thing about the SEC is that upper strata that's definitely already in the tournament or definitely going to make it is so small. And because it would kind of suck if there was 4 juggernauts that were like, all already had it locked down and you were fighting for those last 2 spots. But it's at least 4 probably spots. And like I said, I mean, now A&M, I mean, they're the next one that was behind Kentucky, right? And so now they're what's their home? They've got 2 losses, so they're 4-2, and we're 4-3.
4-3. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, every game is going to be super important, and it's just going to be a mess. Somebody is going to get squeaked out, and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
One of these college team bases is going to be real sad because they're going to be a good team that just didn't win a game like what we just won just now.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the stuff that we've been saying is we as we lost, this kind of happened when the Oklahoma thing happened. You had the Hofstra loss, and then you beat up on Elon, but you knew, and you had said it, like, Muss has got to figure some stuff out, and we're going to lose some games while he does. And sure enough, you go on that 3-game losing streak to Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, and then Texas A&M. I feel like if you play Mississippi State or Vanderbilt right now, you're winning those games for sure.
Maybe not Mississippi State; they're pretty good, but definitely Vanderbilt. I feel like we got a way better shot at.
I don't know, man. We played Mississippi State with no note, and we we didn't have anything figured out yet. Like, I mean,
but they did kick our ass.
Yeah. So I feel like they have figured it out, and just in time, because the schedules. We have a stretch here, so we'll kind of go over the schedule real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. So on Wednesday, we have to go to Ole Miss. That's a game we need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss is not one of the teams that's probably going to be clawing their way into the NCAA tournament. It's not a bottom SEC team necessarily, but it's a
well, they are right now.
It's a lower half SEC team.
It's a lower
third
quarter. Yeah, they're in the bottom ones.
Yeah. So you need to get that game at Ole, even though it's on the road, but you need to get that one. The reason you got to get it is because of the way the schedule is. You got to get that one, and because you already gave up some losses early that you didn't want to. So you got the Ole Miss game. You got to get that. We got West Virginia at home. West Virginia is decent, but that would be nice. That would be a nice one. Out of conference opponent. It's at home, and because it's at home, I say that's one you need to get. And I know as I say that, you're like, okay, now you're talking about extending a 4-game winning streak and do a 6-game winning streak. I'll keep going. Then you have to go to Georgia. You have to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot lose to Georgia. So yes, I'm saying now you must extend the winning streak to 7 games. After that, you have Mississippi State at home. You must beat Mississippi State at home, because you can't let Mississippi State sweep you, because they're not that good, and you are at home. So yes, I am saying that you must now at this point extend this winning streak. You must double it from 4 games to 8 games. You have to get an 8-game winning streak going into Auburn at Bud Walton. That's what you want to see. And if we are on an 8-game winning streak with Auburn coming to town, that's it, man. That's the one. I mean, me and you might be like spending hundreds of dollars trying to go to Bud Walton Arena to watch this game. But I think that's almost what you need to happen, because after that, after the Mississippi State game, you have to go Auburn, You have to go to Alabama, then you have to go at Missouri. You have to play Tennessee, at Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Tennessee again. The last part of it is brutal.
Mhm.
And if you want to feel like we got a chance to do this, hey, I'm just saying it's time to double a winning streak heading into Auburn. I need that to be. I need an 8-game winning streak going into Auburn. If you drop one of those, I'm not saying you're not making the tournament or anything like that, but you're gonna really like your chances if that's where you're sitting at that point. And
Yeah, because it's almost inconceivable that there's not a couple of losses in those last 5 games.
oh yeah,
And if you are already on the bubble and then you start, I mean, everybody knows it's not right, but it is the way it is.
you don't want to have to go 4 or 5 down that stretch. You don't want to have to do that.
And even if you are a bubble, like if you're vying with another team, even if it's not in conference, if you're on the bubble, not all losses and wins are, I mean, it's worse to lose 3 out of 5 games at the end of the year versus the beginning of the year. That even if they're to equal teams, doesn't matter. Those, if you string together, and lose 3 out of 5 at the end, it's looked at differently. It has a different taste in the committee's mouth than if it was early in the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's just really likely that you're going to lose some of those games at the end there because they're so tough. But I was looking at the right now, the conference record is Auburn 7-0, Texas A&M is 4-2, Kentucky's 5-2, Mississippi State's 4-2, Tennessee's 4-3, Alabama's 4-3, Arkansas's 4-3. I mean,
yeah,
Florida's 3-3, LSU's 3-4. But dude, that stretch right there between Mississippi State 4-2, Tennessee 4-3, Alabama 4-3, Arkansas 4-3. That's like,
as a war. You got to get those you got to start piling up those wins. I'm telling you, Arkansas fans, these next 4 games are huge games in the sense that these are games that we got to win. And you're going to be feeling all hyped if they win the next one. Is 5-game winning streak, 6-game winning streak, 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be hyped. I'll be totally hyped. But it's not just like, oh man, they figured out they're going to beat the world. That's what you need to happen for the gauntlet that is the back half of the back little section of the schedule. You don't want to have to go into the final 6 games being like, well, I think we got to win 5 out of 6 if we want to make it. That is not what you want. And if you are in a position where you have to win 5 out of 6 to make it, you're probably not going to win 5 out of 6 because that means you lost some of these games that I just talked about, and those teams aren't as good. So that's what we want to see. Plus, I want just like an enormous Auburn. Like Auburn, I want Bruce Pearl coming into Bud Walton with Arkansas. I mean, they'll probably be ranked if they're doing that. Yeah, man, let's do this thing and have some stuff on the line. And you want Arkansas to be feeling themselves going in that game.
Yeah, I agree. We just got to keep Note healthy and out of foul trouble.
Jalen Williams, you need to not make sure that you don't tweak anything.
Yep, Jalen Williams too. Like it's definitely a battle of attrition at this point, especially for Arkansas, who is not deep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
right,
great win. Good overtime win. Way to find a way to win without your best player on the floor. Jalen Williams is a stud. If he's not your favorite player, you don't know basketball. That's one of the takeaways. And I guess I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, dude. Have a good one. See ya.